I try really hard, really hard sometimes to be a positive Pete, as Simon Miller would say. You know what? There's just so much negativity in the world, but when I look at the state of the WWE Championships almost completely across the board, I'm going to have to be a crabby Ken today, a crabby Ken indeed, because if you look at each championship, it's crazy that the most well-booked, the strongest division right now is the men's tag team division on SmackDown. I cannot believe that we are living in a timeline in which the tag team division, the men's tag team division, is actually the strongest of all the titles. And I'm happy. I'm happy for the tag teams. I love tag teams. I grew up in an era where we had Demolition, the Hart Foundation, the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers, the Rockers, or the Attitude Era, Dudleys, Hardys, Edge and Christian, APA, New Age Outlaws. So yeah, the tag team division is very fond to my heart, but I've kind of gotten used to it being the forgotten division, and yet that is like the strongest division, which is telling because every other division is just like scratching my head. We are going to go over the state of each championship today and just, I don't know, buckle in, because I have more negative than positives to say today, and I'm hoping that we can change this on that road to WrestleMania. Let's start with the men's midcard. Braun Breaker is a very strong champion, right? He deserved the belt. He got it at SummerSlam, and yet, where's this dude at? Since SummerSlam, he has lost it one time, and he regained it about a month or so later. The guy is like in the prime, like he's in the prime of his career, and the dude barely on TV. We are not seeing the championship at all. He shows up so he can have a stare down with somebody, and we're all like, ooh, a stare down with Penta. Ooh, a stare down with AJ. Ooh, a stare down with Jacob Fatu. Ooh, a stare down, but that's it. That's his championship reign. And it's like, it's cool for a second, but then it goes nowhere. It's like, what are we doing with the dude? The guy is like, what, 26, 27 years old? He can run ropes at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we're doing nothing with him. Like, oh man, give him some promo time at least. Just let him walk out to the middle of the ring and just smack talk everybody. We can do something with Braun Breaker, and yet, nothing. I will say this though, on Monday Night Raw, it does look like AJ and Braun Breaker are getting in a proper feud after the stare down, the 1,000,000th stare down. Braun Breaker attacked AJ Styles, so it looks like that's the path that we are on. So looking up. And we go to the U.S. title picture on SmackDown, and we're doing even less than nothing. And the state of the Wrestlechop Championship is this. We haven't hit 10,000 subscribers yet, so I've got it right here on my shoulder. But once we hit 10,000, I'm gonna mail it out just like I mailed out the last one to Australia. That's right, you can be a Wrestlechop champion. All you gotta do to win it is comment below, subscribe, and hit the notification button as well. And then if you're so kind, a thumbs up. That's all it's gonna do. Why am I doing this? Trying to quit the day job, trying to produce wrestling content all day long, all week long for you beautiful people out there, and I'll give away this belt in the process. 10,000 subscribers, free shipping, free everything, and if you like the content that I'm doing here, I also have a Patreon. I have it in the description. I do even more content there, watch-alongs and everything, so please consider giving. I think you'll enjoy that as well if you're enjoying this content. All right, so next championship, we had LA Knight. Yeah, whether you like him or not, he had a very strong title reign after SummerSlam. The dude, in a very short amount of time, like a 2-month time period, defended it against like 4 or 5, 6 people, and he was coming up, he was coming out, he was showing up, he was showing out, he was just like on fire. The guy was on fire, and then we took it off him. I was actually kind of sort of happy. We took it off him, gave it to Shinsuke. Shinsuke was like, oh, this was a second opportunity, a new lease on Shinsuke's career, and yet, in like 70 or 80 days, the guy has appeared to TV like, what, twice? Maybe? He defended it against Andrade, defended it against LA Knight in a rematch, and I don't know. He's so menacing and awesome of a character, and yet we don't even see him. We have seen him like kind of in like promos in like the background, but it's like that's it. We're doing nothing. We're doing nothing with this guy. He's our champion. He should be out there. He should be, if you want him to like duck the competition, that's fine, but he has to show up and then duck the competition. You know, it's like him just not be there. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all that we took the belt off LA Knight, who was actually holding it like a champion should, just to give it to Shinsuke, which at first glance was a good idea, but then we do nothing with it. It's like, come on. Jeez. On SmackDown this week, him and The Miz, LA Knight and The Miz, they were having a battle. They interrupted Shinsuke, right? Because Shinsuke was like, I'm looking for competitors. LA Knight came out and was like, no, you're not. You are definitely not looking for competitors. Then The Miz came out, and those two had a war of words, right? And Shinsuke, the champion, is all but forgotten about. The Miz upstaged Shinsuke, and it's like, oh man. I mean, The Miz can upstage almost anyone when you give him the opportunity, but he hasn't had many opportunities lately. And for The Miz and LA Knight to go at it to the point where when they were done, we kind of just panned it over to Shinsuke, and we were like, oh yeah, Shinsuke, the U.S. champion, was there. The mid-card titles are just like, whew, not good. Not good at all. And the women's mid-card titles, not much better. Last week, we had both the champions lose in qualifying matches so they can try to win a different title. So the title that they have is not good enough for them. They want another title, and they can't even qualify to get that title because they're eating losses. It's like we didn't need to do that. We could have easily had Lyra Valkyria, your first women's Intercontinental Champion, who has not defended her title one time, who has not had one in-ring promo, not one time since winning. We could have not had her in that match. We could have put in anybody else. Zoe Starks. We could have put in the other Zoe Starks, the other one in Pure Fusion Collective. What's her name? She used to be Shayna Baszler. Either of those could have been in that match. It didn't need to be the Intercontinental Champion eating the loss. And you shouldn't even be in that match anyways, because you should be focused on your title reign, because you've done nothing. You've done nothing. So that title looks weak. I don't see anybody trying to like call her out. Well, I guess Ivy Nile has kind of sort of called her out, but like doesn't. And why didn't we just have Ivy Nile cause a distraction and make her lose so we could have a feud right there? But nope. We just had to let the Intercontinental Champion lose. Oh, but she lost to Bayley. That's not the point. It's not the point who the Intercontinental Champion lost to. The point is that they lost. Just don't put him in the match. Same with Chelsea Green. I get it, Chelsea Green, though, she is a heel. She can eat losses more than Lyra can. But still, it's like, did we really need to have both champions lose? No, no, we didn't. Lots of opportunity. We could have made it a triple threat. We could have thrown B-Fab in there. We could have thrown Meacham in there. And maybe that could have, like, finally settled that forever feud between Meacham and Chelsea Green. But Naomi gets the pin. It's just like, I don't understand why we had to make both mid-card titles lose in the same week. Let's get some positivity going. Because the SmackDown men's division tag team titles, like, holy crap. It's very, very interesting and some really banger matches. You have DIY that suddenly got a personality and really just loving their titles. They're doing great with it. We got Pretty Deadly, who were heels, but kind of becoming faces because they're just so freaking entertaining, even though they're, like, definitely bottom of the card underdogs, and the lower mid-card, but still very funny, very great. We have Motor City Machine Guns. Yes, they were crammed down our throat a little too quick, but you know what? That's not their fault. You're telling me that if Triple H were to come to you and be like, hey guys, I know you haven't been on the roster for long, but I'm gonna give you a championship. Are you gonna tell me you're gonna be like, no, Triple H, I don't want that championship. I don't think it'll be good for my career. And no, I'm taking that championship. I don't care if it's the heavyweight championship. Championship. I'll take it. The fans can boo me all they want. But yeah, whatever. So then we got El Gato del Fantasma as well. We have Street Profits. They're getting vignettes. A tag team is getting vignettes. It's like insane. It's insane. Everybody is vying for those championships. There are stories. There are tons of stories. We had Pretty Deadly covering for DIY. We have DIY like mistreating Pretty Deadly line that El Gato del Fantasma attacked the Street Profits. The Street Profits mad at the Machine Guns for giving their opportunity to DIY. There's just that story. There's personality, there's story, there's hatred, there's titles, there's everything. That's a strong division. That's a strong division right there. And I'm loving it. Loving it. That tag team titles. They're chef's kiss on the men's SmackDown tag team titles. Now, the Raw side of the tag team title equation, it's getting better. It's getting better. It's not there yet. It is getting better. There was a head scratcher on Raw where we had American Made fighting the War Raiders, and they got frustrated or something and hit the War Raiders with the belts, caused a DQ, but then celebrated. So I guess they're just pushing it to another matchup, which is, I mean, I guess it's okay, but I don't know. I'm not connecting with the War Raiders. I am glad that Judgment Day no longer has it. I'm glad that the War Raiders are defending, so I'm just like, I'm not connecting with the War Raiders. Their personal story of overcoming adversity is amazing and awesome, but yeah, as characters, not so much connecting. I honestly think that the misstep here is not just throwing all of your weight behind the New Day and just having a bunch of face challengers for the New Day, but we are in a rebuilding part of the Raw Tag Team division. You got American Made, the War Raiders, LWO, New Day, and yeah, it took a minute. It took a minute for SmackDown, so I'm giving, if I had to give a grade right now, I'd say a C+ to the Raw Tag Team division, which is way better than it's been all year. All year it's been an E. All right, so full disclosure, I actually forgot to put the Women's Tag Team title in this video, so I had to refilm after a day, and honestly, that's kind of indicative of the Tag Team division right now for the women's, in that it's forgettable. Unfortunately, I did not do it on purpose, but you know what? When life hands you lemons, throw lemons at people. Just throw lemons at people. But yeah, no, I forgot that the women's tag team, when doing this list of champions, which sucks because last year, that tag team division, Jade and Bianca were on fire. They raised up the entire division. And yeah, now that it's on Naomi, it's kind of forgettable because it seems like they're no longer a tag team. They seem like they're two single stars with the tag team titles, as opposed to Bianca and Jade. They actually seemed like a tag team. It just seems like they're more worried about trying to get the U.S. title, or trying to win the Royal Rumble, or trying to fight Tiffany, Nia, whoever it may be. And yeah, just single stars with the tag belts. But I will say this, now that the footage was released and they think that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are the perpetrators of the attack on Jade Cargill, we now have a storyline, a tag team storyline, a tag team feud, which is what this title needs. So even though I think it's Naomi still, a feud is very welcomed, and I believe will raise up the tag team division again for the women's. It's not the worst it's ever been in, not by far, but not the best either. Last year, so good. This year, so-so. I won't spend long on NXT, but honestly, if you really want to see strong championships with strong characters and great wrestling, you really should watch NXT. I did a live stream on Vengeance Day over the weekend, and it was like, man, those were bangers. The women, the midcard, their main top title, Oba Femi, everybody just like, all of the titles were just, it looked like the champions deserved to be champions, and it was just really good. Just everything about NXT and their championship titles right now are just on fire. Axiom also, their tag team division, their tag team champions are just crazy amazing. So like, if you're a little frustrated at the main roster and how it's treating their title holders, go to NXT, go to Tuesday nights and watch that, because wow, I was impressed with Vengeance Day and every everybody holding the title. The only title that wasn't defended was their North American men's title. So, but I do know that one's embroiled in a storyline, so forgivable. So, anyways, let's go now to we can do Speed also. Hey, you know what? The Speed title is defended on a regular basis, and those matches quick, easy to digest, and not bad. Not bad. I wish Dragon Lee and Candice LeRae would bring their titles to Raw and SmackDown, though. I feel like that's the one element missing with Speed. If we're gonna make it a thing, then let's make it a thing. But, you know, they are forgettable, I'm not gonna lie, but it's easy, it's fun to enjoy. And if you're a Patreon member, I am gonna start watching Speed on Discord. I'm thinking either Wednesdays and Saturdays. I haven't fully decided yet. Stay tuned for that. The women's titles, we got the world title with Rhea Ripley. I guess I'm going to say that's pretty strong. To be fair, that's pretty strong. Last year, though, the problem with the women's title was that it was like completely almost held hostage in a never-ending feud between Rhea and Liv Morgan. And because of that, Liv Morgan only really defended it against, like, what, 3 people? Becky, Rhea. And then also, I think, Zelina Vega and Io Sky. Other than that, for a championship she won like a month after WrestleMania, to have only 4 challengers is kind of lame. But we are talking now Rhea's title reign, and in all honesty, she only won it last month, and she already defended it in an awesome match with Nia Jax, who's a very credible challenger. So I would say that Rhea's title reign, while still young, is actually looking pretty decent. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, though, walking into WrestleMania. But right now, I can't really complain. I could complain last year when it was just Liv, and not because Liv was a great champion, and it really did elevate her character. My complaint with Liv was just she didn't defend it against enough variety of people. But Rhea Ripley, she just got it, and she's already defended it. So far, so good with Rhea. Now we go to SmackDown, and we talk about Tiffany. Tiffany also won it. She basically won it 3 days before Rhea Ripley did, and she did defend it. She defended it against Naomi, I believe, and even just Nia Jax. So on paper, she is doing a good job. I feel she's just not looking strong as a character. She's not looking necessarily like the champion, and I'm really worried that now that Charlotte Flair has fully said, yes, you are my opponent for WrestleMania, that if Charlotte Flair just continues to bury Tiffany, and Tiffany is not able to really fire back at that same level as Charlotte Flair, which is difficult because Charlotte is a grade A smack talker, I do fear that the women's champion is going to look weaker and weaker and weaker going into Mania. So I'm really hoping that Tiffany, she stops playing second fiddle to everybody, get that confidence that she had before she won the Money in the Bank, and channel that into her now title reign, because she's going to need it. Charlotte Flair is going to come at her with everything. And Tiffany right now, on paper, her title reign's fine, but when I see her holding it, I'm not fully feeling it. And I love Tiffany, actually. I actually love Tiffany way more than Rhea, and yet Rhea's doing a better job. So then we go to Gunther. Gunther last year, he oh man. Gunther was like an all-time great, and then suddenly he got into a feud with Damian Priest, and he like Shawn Michaels lost his smile, Gunther lost his confidence, and that really hurt his title reign. I will say that it definitely took it down a couple pegs. When you look at his Intercontinental title reign, there's like no weak points, right? No weak points in that title reign, but in the World Championship, he definitely has this one glaring, from like October to December, this just weird spot area where he's just like scared and weak and pathetic. And then we have Raw go to Netflix, the biggest event of all time for WWE, Monday Night Raw, and he is the champion, and he doesn't appear for like 2 to 3 weeks. That's lame. That's like not becoming of a champion. So I will say, though, that he has started to regain his aura, and he is starting to come back to the Gunther that we know and love / know and hate. But I gotta say that that Damian Priest feud and the fact that he was not on Netflix for a while, that's a very dark cloud over the title. And I don't appreciate that he was not a part of the Netflix debut when he was your champion. That made no sense to me. And but he was chosen by the Royal Rumble winner, so that does elevate the title some. So there are positives, and I think it is in a positive direction. I think we've moved on from the negatives with the world title, and we're gonna have a strong program going into WrestleMania. Then our final title is the Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes' championship. It's a little unfair to say that Cody's road this moment, his title reign's a little lackluster. He did have, I will say that his title reign was as a whole lackluster because The Rock said he was going to come back, and I think they were waiting for WrestleMania 41 to really pay that off, but then The Rock abandoned us. Yep, you abandoned us, Rock. Not going to forgive you. If you want to hear more about that, go check out 3 Hot 3 Now, the video I did like a day or two ago, depending on when this is released. However, that said, now that The Rock is out of the way and not coming back, Rock. But we just did have a really good feud with Kevin Owens. I think that really helped. Cody Rhodes, but now we're in this state of this limbo, waiting to see who his challenger is going to be at Elimination Chamber when the winner of that goes on and to WrestleMania fights Cody Rhodes. So what does Cody do in the meantime? They could have done this. I'm going to steal some of this idea from Mr. Sante Zap. He said that we should just do Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a triple threat. That actually would be a very good match. Once I heard him say that, I turned it off because I didn't want to steal any more of his idea. So that part of the idea, I stole Mr. Sante Zap. I'm going to give him the rub. Just kidding. He's the most popular wrestling YouTuber. I could definitely use his rub. I don't know. I probably could have phrased that better, but regardless, I'm stealing from Sante Zap. I'm gonna put some of the Wrestlechop stink on it, though. God, why am I using these words? But what they should do now, though, is make it a triple threat, right? And right when Jacob Fatu is about to pin Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa stops him. And boom, you got a feud right there. Solo Sikoa stops him. Cody Rhodes then gets the crossroads on both of them, pins Solo Sikoa. He leaves, and then you could have Jacob Fatu mad at Solo Sikoa, and they go and have their feud. So there you go. That could have happened there, and it would have been different, and it would have been fun and exciting because, yeah, again, nobody thinks Cody is going to lose, but it would be at least different, and it would get the same results of Jacob and Solo going off to a feud at WrestleMania. Plus, it gives Jacob Fatu his first main event spot without having to lose, and you're like, whoa, what about his Braun Strowman feud? We could have easily finished that up on a random episode of SmackDown, just like Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. That was a main event on Raw. We could have had Jacob Fatu and Braun on SmackDown, and so that could have helped Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes' title reign is going to be kind of like until WrestleMania, until we know who his challenger is. So we could have had just a little bit of a different program right here, because he's coming off a really hot feud. And he's going to go into a really hot feud for Mania. So right now in this limbo time, Solo Sikoa is not the play. But Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, that would be interesting. I would definitely love that. And who knows, maybe they will. There is still time. But yeah, so there you go. That's the state of the championships. Just kind of like, that's kind of the state. Cody Rhodes in limbo. Everybody in limbo, except for the SmackDown men's division and Rhea Ripley. Those are like your strongest titles right now. That's kind of crazy. But regardless, what did you think of this video? Am I wrong? Do you think that maybe Myra Valkyria's title reign is like the greatest of all time? Well, technically it is the greatest women's intercontinental title reign of all time because it's the only one. But boys, girls, you have yourselves a great day, and let me know in the comments below what you think of this video and the title reign state of WWE right now. See ya, bye.